Hello, my name is Rob and welcome back to Metal Monthly. This is a video series where I tell you about everything that happened in metal music over the past month. And in this new style of it, I'm doing it all in one take because it's easier for me to edit and it's more fun. So let's just get straight into it. What happened in metal music in April? It's April, right? Well, it's May now. Anyway, first off, albums. What albums came out? And first of the albums is My Dying Bride with a Mortal Binding. So this is a doom metal band who have been around since the early 90s, apparently, which I did not know. And I fucking love doom metal, so I was quite excited for this album. This is their 13th studio album, which is impressive. So anyway, Mortal Binding, it got very high reviews from the metal review places like Distorted Sound, Metal Sucks, and Blabbermouth. By the way, metal websites have got weird names. So, I listened to it, and although it's doom metal, it's a doom metal band, although sort of, not really. This isn't, I wouldn't say this is a doom album. Not really. It's a bit faster than that. It's a little bit less like low tuned, but it was pretty good. But there's this thing with doom metal where everything is so low tuned and played at such a elongated pace that everything melds into everything else. Whereas here, all the sounds sounded very separate. It just didn't sound very doom to me, but maybe they're not trying to be doom on this one. Who knows? So the vocals are very gruff, and I wasn't a huge fan, but it's not the worst I've heard. Like, you could still kind of tell what it was saying. It wasn't like screamo, and it wasn't like really rough vocals. So it wasn't my favourite album, but it was pretty good. It's kind of grungy, doomy, stoner metal, that kind of thing. I quite liked it. The first single of the album, Thornwick Hymn, is about a village in Yorkshire. Frontman Aaron Stainthorpe said about the single, "Set upon the rugged coast of Yorkshire, Thornwick village has spent an eternity being haunted by the chill waters that wash its shore, and the hidden folk who dwell within the salty depth. Woe betide anyone who fares into the briny sea or even steals too close to its edge, for they may never set back foot on Mother Earth." So I think we can now determine that this album is folk doom. Which I looked up, and folk doom is already a thing. You cannot combine two metal genres together anymore and come up with something new. Everything already exists. Anyway, next up we've got Melvins with Tarantula Heart. The Melvins are the best, worst named band ever, because the Melvins are named for an insult from like the 80s, where it was like if you were a dork or a nerd, you're a Melvin. And so the Melvins, the band, play doom, hard rock, punk metal. And it is so not what you would associate with the term the Melvins. So I love the Melvins, they're brilliant. And this new album is so not what they used to do. It's a very experimental, weird album. It's not the doom they used to play, but it's really good. The first song on the album is 20 minutes long. And all the other songs are like 3, 4, 5 minutes. It's basically they went, here's the song we want to do, and then here's a few other songs to fill this out to be an album. The first epic 20-minute track is so good, and it changes so much. It starts out sounding like just rock music, kind of like Foo Fighters if you slowed it down to quarter speed. But then the longer you listen, the more it changes and becomes weird and different and psychedelic in places. It was really fun to listen to. So the way they recorded this was basically got some guys in and they all recorded different riffs, and then he went away and stitched all that together, filled in some gaps and made a song from it. And he was like, that's not how we normally do things. We normally have songs to record before we go record. And I like that they're just playing around with stuff. Lots of people loved this album, me included. Next up, Alien, oh wait, is that the last one? Yes, thirdly and lastly is Alien Ant Farms with Mantras. And they've stylized mantras to capitalize the A, and some of the songs on it, let's see, Last Dance is spelled last D, capital A, NTZ, and the song Everything She Wants, they've capitalized the A. If you can't tell, that's so that all these things emphasize the word ants. Which is such a silly, fun little Easter egg, and I love that they are still doing that. So Alien Ant Farm, the band who did Smooth Criminal, that Marmite cover of that song. This band has been around since the 90s, I think it was 96, and this is only their 6th studio album, which feels weird. That doesn't feel like enough. But I mean, I've been around since 1991 and I haven't got any albums out, so who am I to talk? So this album doesn't sound anything like what I thought Alien Ant Farm sounded like. They started out being nu metal, now they've gone on to being kind of prog rock, alt rock, that kind of thing, indie maybe. They still sound like Alien Ant Farm, but the music has changed, it's different. It's enjoyable, although I don't think I was like a huge fan of it. But like any of the songs on the album, if they were on the radio, I would listen to it, I wouldn't switch off. I'm not sure I'd go back to it. So blah blah blah. Started out as nu metal. The lead singer Dryden Mitchell, Dryden is a weird name, he can still sing. He still sounds exactly the same as he did in the early 2000s. It's brilliant. It works really well with the style of music they're now doing. Oh, and I can't end this section without pointing out that there is a cover of Everything She Wants by Wham, which is odd. Not something I expected, but I listened to it. It's basically a straight cover of that song, except it's Alien Ant Farm. Oh, was that my camera switching off? Oh, that's not good. Let me just check. No, it's fine. Well, that was embarrassing. Sorry, they did a cover of a song by Wham. It's pretty good, actually. Although I listened to the original and I didn't recognise it. I don't think it's one of Wham's huge ones. Maybe it is. I'm not a huge Wham fan. Wham fan, whatever. If you've ever liked Alien Ant Farm, check it out and prepare to be amazed, because it's not what Alien Ant Farm you would expect. And that is the albums. That's the albums for this month. Next up, Music Festival Explorer. This is my website where I talk about music festivals and music and stuff. This month, I've not written about music festival stuff. I've been on holiday, leave me alone. But in the past, I have written blogs about the origins of Download Festival and Bloodstock. I wrote about the first Woodstock. No, wait, I wrote about Woodstock and I wrote about the first Glastonbury. There's links to all of those things in the description. Please check them out. I will get back to writing things, I promise. I've been busy. And finally, we've got the fun story from last month. And I struggled to find a fun story from last month. You would have thought, with it being April, people would have done lots of fun April Fool's pranks around metal. No, none of them. Nobody has done that. So I did manage to find one thing that was an April Fool's prank, but it was from 2022, but it was in an article from this year. So, I mean, do you want to hear the fun story or not? Shut up. So, Cradle of Filth have very famously got a t-shirt that on the back says, Jesus is a cunt. And in 2022, they released some merch, or they put a post saying they released some merch that changed it to actually saying, Jesus is a jerk. I think the idea was that in Australia you're not allowed to have swearing on things, so they've changed their merch to not have swearing, and lots of people were taken in by it. Lots of people believed it and were very, very angry. My favourite though was someone who commented saying about how much he hated this and swore in the comment, but censored his own swearing, and then someone pointed out that entirely goes against his point he was making. Oh, it was incredibly funny. I love when people actually do fall for these things and get really angry about things that wouldn't matter even if they were true. Anyway, that's everything. Thank you so much for watching. This has been Metal Monthly for April 2024. If you've enjoyed this video, why wouldn't you? This has been a brilliant episode. Click like and subscribe, all those things that help me out. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Rob, and I will see you at another random video very soon. That was my outro for a different channel. Who cares?